Hey everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. So when it's cold or raining or just bad outside, we've been trying to work away on our attic. We've been finishing off this attic for bedroom space for the boys and a bathroom space. We have a 2-bedroom, very small house. Everyone's cramped inside, and we've been slowly expanding and working on this in our spare time. Of course, last year lumber prices went way up, so we did what we could do as far as laying down our floor, buying in advance right at the beginning of the price hikes. Things have come back down within reason. Lumber prices kind of go up and down, but basically you can get a 2x4 for anywhere from $5 to $6 in the last few weeks. So we brought home a trunk load of 2x4s the other day. We had roofing jobs and window jobs and another zip code all summer, so it took us away from working on this for sure. So it's nice and cold, and it's just open attic. So there's been some conversion stuff going on. It's going to be like a Cape Cod up here without dormers. So keeping that in mind, Cape Cods are always either hot upstairs or cold. So we've been working on insulation a lot. We've got a lot of blown in insulation from the build of the house in the 1980s. So we figured out this house is roughly 40 years old, and I just cannot believe it is that old. It's probably one of the newest houses I've ever lived in. Well, we've been framing in the bathroom. If you're following us on Instagram at all, there's a little link at the top of the channel page over there. You can see kind of more progressive updates in real time what's going on, because I post on there every day or two, just kind of depending on what's going on. But we got a pocket door installed here for the bathroom, and we've just been slowly kind of working on insulation in this corner so that he could work without the wind blowing in. We've got vented soffits, vinyl siding on the exterior of the house, and all that vented area just blows right in here like an open window. And this last week has been the absolute coldest of this winter and the windiest. It got down to 1 degree last night, which is below freezing. Not -1. So it's actually like -31 for the freezing. Very, very cold. Michigan is hard for doing this kind of work. Summer was super, super hot up here without the insulation. We had it here, but we were holding off on getting the electrical run. So he mounted yesterday electric boxes in the bathroom area here, and what's going to be the ceiling lights. At the same time, we're running heat runs from downstairs here. He's working on this one over here today. It has been easily 25 to 30 degrees every day that we start up here. I just got up here a little late. We left the heat runs open during the night last night because it was so cold. We've been running the wood heater in the basement, the wood add-on furnace. So it's not like blowing our money. We're just doing a little extra work on our firewood. We keep a little thermometer hung up here. I just got here. 54 degrees. Absolute difference. It was 12, I think, when I started out this morning, and they said it feels like 1. Well, this is a lot more enjoyable. Every day, I got housework to do, I got kids to do, we got cows to do, and hauling firewood from the pile to the basement. Things like that. So we're getting started in. Today we're going to work on heat runs, more insulation, and more wiring. I'll tell you, I'm about halfway insulated on this side. I've got my knee wall done down here while he was finishing up the heat run. So we've got to get some insulation, ductwork stuff for that. I don't know whether to go with a styrofoam box. They are sold out of so many supplies because everybody else is doing their home projects right now, and you want to move on. So we just figured we would wrap it in insulation or build a styrofoam box around it. In the meantime, we're able to keep going with everything else that we can. The hardest part is the up and down. So I'm going to take a little break. I just had Jack bring me up a little stool so that I could sit on, because the squatting, my thigh muscles are killing me from 2 days of just cutting and doing. So to make things a little easier this time, I went through, I've got about 27 or 28 knee wall pieces. So I just cut a few at a time, take a break, and walk around. So I've got them stacked up so that I can start putting them in. I was watching a show on a channel called Dabble. It was called Flipping Boston. They each took a room and the bet was to see like who could do it faster, was going to buy dinner, whatever. The one guy just slapped it all up on the wall. They're using pre-cut bats, which goes a lot faster. I'm using rolled insulation, and this is what we picked up at Menards. I think the funniest thing is it's called Knopf. It's Knopf insulation. Enough. So I've got Knopf insulation, and this part here is hard. I started with this strip here and just tried to do one long continuous strip. Doing it by yourself, it's too hard. It was falling down as I was going. I was trying to staple and unroll. Just a mess. So I went with the knee wall installation, and I'm going to do with the angled walls. The end walls, because these windows don't have the J channel around. Eventually we want to get new siding, but that's going to be a little ways down the road. So lots of draft around there, and being insulated from the ceiling down, it hasn't affected the rest of the house, but that soffit thing, that was huge. It's much more enjoyable. He just went down to stoke the fire a little bit. We noticed the temperature had gone down a little bit. We're at about 52 right now. It's a little windy out today, but very, very sunny. So I've got, well, we bought 2 pallets of insulation to go. So this wall, it's hard to see with the sun, is completely done. And it's just every day, a few strips, everything you can, making the most difference that you can. So he's down in the basement right now trying to figure out where he can run a trunk up through some vacuum and clothing closets to have air conditioning running over here. Right now, what he's run is actually the cold air returns, which for us, the wood add-on furnace blows up through the cold air returns. So plenty of heat we'll be getting up here right now. So we've got 2 of that running in from the cold air returns that went up, fortunately, right up to the ceiling in the lower level. Tying into that, he's figuring out where that's going to go. My vacuum closet's going to get a little smaller, but that's okay. There's too much junk in there anyway, and we've been sorting through. New year, you know, you're always getting rid of things that you don't need. So this project is encouraging some purging too at the same time, because we're working around areas in the basement, on the main floor, and up into the attic. So my lower level closet had to get cleaned out because it was formerly a wash closet for a stackable washer and dryer. So right down here, we were able to continue those pipes. We actually cut them and moved them over in the basement so they wouldn't go through the closet, then they would go through the wall instead. That's going to be Bethany's bedroom closet. And, you know, she always keeps her dresser in her closet anyway, but I didn't want her to run into a pipe, bend it, pierce it, anything like that. You know, slam it with a toy box or a dresser drawer. And our whole house vent came up through the center, right down here. So that is being converted to the toilet sewer drain. And then we were able to tie in the vent from the laundry closet here, and then it's going to go out the side and then up. Everything is working out really good because there was already so much already here. So that gives you a good idea of how long it takes to do a section. Now this last piece here, I left it because we had to move the extension cord and it was after dark when we got to this strip the other day. And of course I have to leave this open until we have our staircase built, because this is where we're going in and out up through our garage. We don't have the floor screwed down beyond this point where the chimney was built. So I didn't have anything to stand on through there also. And that's why this section is going to be tough, because we didn't continue the floor joists right through here because we weren't quite sure the configuration that we're going to do with the staircase coming up from the basement. We had talked about a spiral staircase so that it would come up only in this section in front of the window, but getting furniture up through there is really hard. And Jack is already taller than me at 5'11", so he is almost 6 feet tall, and he's going to be a big guy. So a loft ladder is out of the question between him and George being 4. It would be fun, but not so fun for Mom. Have to come up and down for laundry, and they do a lot of that stuff on their own, but a regular staircase definitely is a need with full-size boys who are going to be man-sized at 13 to 15 years old. Well, I've gotten as far as I could so far for today. I'm not going to quit, but I got to go get Team B. I did this miserable section here. I hated this. I kept putting it off, but I did get it done because it was a section and a section and a section. In between every section where the wall comes up for the bathroom, I had to tuck some insulation up in there also. And of course, my ends, my rafters, weren't 16 inches. They're like 12, and I don't have the insulation for that. So we had to cut down every end section. 110 inches. That's a long ways to have to trim that back and still leave a stapled edge. But I got it all done on both ends and started in. However, all those remaining parts of the trusses need to be cut off. I did too, and then realized this is going to be a problem trying to cut this out. Better to stop now. Go get him to cut them, because yeah, I don't want the ceiling to fall in or anything. I'm sure it's going to be fine, but I think I'm going to go ahead, have a snack, do some editing, do some looking up some things online, and then I'll get back to this before or after dinner. It is a huge difference this insulation is making. Some people say, oh, why don't you use the bats? Well, I have more time than I have money, and it's a lot less expensive. This is an R13 for this. We could do a heavier R factor, but for the space between, we have 2x6s. That's all the clearance we have. If we went any thicker, then you're going to end up having condensation from your insulation touching the roof and having that moisture. We know eventually we're going to be going to a steel roof, so definitely need to have that airspace and airflow for your attic vents to be able to work properly. So those are the reasons for that. It's going along really, really well. You can see that this is all buttoned up. Today when I came up here, it was just about 60 degrees. After I started insulating some more, opening up the third register, we are at 64 degrees without stoking the fire for hours. So comfortable living. It is going along really good. I have to save these top sections for him to run the wire. He told me to go ahead, but that means he's going to rip out all the work that I do. So I'm going to just wait off on that. Better for me to do that than to get mad about him ripping it out. I know it's got to be done. Everything's trying to, back and forth. I waited for him in the heat. We were definitely spending a little more money on electricity with some cooling loss coming up here, but with the heat loss, it's a little different situation. So definitely wanting to get this buttoned up and worked on. So that's it for today, everybody. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and go over to the Instagram so you can see how this progress is going along daily or every other day. Don't forget that. It is going to be maple syrup season very, very soon. So go on the Etsy, order your maple syrup tubes. We're still shipping every single day. There's all the awesome vintage finds. We're posting new stuff in inventory on there every single day. It is a constant little process that I do. Collect a few things, post a few things with my morning coffee, get on to jobs like this. So for now, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.